And in the second time, there was a huge difference. I got in touch with more academic English. Um, I was learning business, so I got to read a lot, I got to write a lot. So that also impacted more or less. And at that time, I practiced a lot. I had at least 3 to 4 hours a day focusing on IELTS, especially like 1 month before the test. Consequently, as I practiced a lot, as I got more and more exposure, the test score changed. Four times in total. But this year, I don't really need it anymore. Maybe if I like to test my language skills later, I might take it again. But for now, I don't really need it. So over time, were there any score changes? Of course. Actually, even before taking the IELTS test for the first time, before 2012, I was already in touch with IGCSE for a year or two. So I know the flow of the test more or less. But before that, I was merely a state school student. So I knew nothing about academic English before stepping to learn IGCSE and IELTS. So I was just like normal state school student. So yeah, that was quite difficult to follow up. In the first time, I wasn't really ready. And also, I didn't practice a lot. Sometimes when I reflected myself why I did not get necessary score, I was in a delusional mood. Maybe sometimes I would think of myself as I am trying enough, but actually, to be honest, I wasn't. I didn't practice a lot. I didn't really know the flow of past papers, and I couldn't digest all the necessary parts of the whole test, all modules, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. I did not digest the test well. And I also didn't try a lot of past papers. That was the case. And then, as a result, my scores didn't turn out to be very good. And there were also some external influences that I got sick on the exam day, my stomach problem. That was another factor. And in the second time, there was a huge difference. I got in touch with more academic English. Um, I was learning business, so I got to read a lot, I got to write a lot. So that also impacted more or less. And at that time, I practiced a lot. I had at least 3 to 4 hours a day focusing on IELTS, especially like 1 month before the test. I also retook the course with the same teacher for the same course so that I can warm up what I used to study. But after that, I just did self study for like 1 month or more than 1 month. Consequently, as I practiced a lot, as I got more and more exposure, the test score changed. And that momentum continued over time and it stayed affected until the last attempt that I tried. So my suggestion is your ability to digest the test and the necessary parts to learn matter a lot. And also the academic English capacity, it's very important. You have to get a lot of exposure of academic listening, lecture style listening, and also essay reading, and also academic reading, which can go up to like 2 pages of research studies or discussions or argumentative, etc., etc. As you got to read those things, you got a lot of background knowledge and the flow of writing and academic English. And that's how we could master and integrate the skills you got into the test. Of course, you also need to practice with certain time setting, of course, like to practice writing or speaking in a short amount of time. Okay, like set the timer and then write an essay in 40 minutes, 35 minutes. You also need that, okay? Sometimes no matter how much we got into academic reading or writing, you might not finish in time because you just chill and then read or write, okay? You didn't do it in a time-bound setting. So as it is an exam, we have to take it in a certain time setting, okay? So that kind of time-based training is also very important and you have to do it yourself, okay? All right, so those are the times I took IELTS 4 times over the years, more than 10 years, okay? Um, Lesson learned, as I mentioned, your capacity and practice, exposure to academic English, okay? Before taking IELTS or before you start preparing for IELTS, you might not have got academic English, of course, but bit by bit, you can get into it, okay? So, as I always tell in the class, we may be more or less familiar with everyday English or business English, okay? But these days, I also see that students are getting much in touch with academic English as well, which is also a good thing.